It's at a point where like something can be about me, like my name can be in the actual headline and it can still be none of my business.
Taylor Swift subpoenaed in the Justin Baldoni-Blake Lively lawsuit. The superstar's legal team issuing a blistering response.
A judge ruled Baldoni can obtain messages between Lively and pop superstar Taylor Swift that pertain to the ongoing legal case.
Can confirm Taylor Swift is no longer being subpoenaed by Justin Baldoni's legal team.
My business is making music and taking care of my fans. Everything else, I'm just sort of like, it's not my business. I have actual business that I need to run.
No one needed to be specifically called out by Taylor Swift. Fans, however, are certain that she simply disparaged Blake Lively on national podcasts. Taylor revealed shocking information about her upcoming album during her infrequent appearance on the New Heights podcast, and one small detail has sparked a flurry of conjecture. People are wondering if she was targeting one of her closest and longest-standing Hollywood relationships with the new song Ruin the Friendship. Blake Lively didn't take it well if the rumors are accurate. How, then, did one podcast episode become a discussion about loyalty, treachery, and one of the most well-known friendships in popular culture? Let's start with the night that the internet almost crashed due to Taylor's appearance. No one anticipated Taylor Swift's appearance on New Heights. For fans, hearing her talk on Travis Kelce's podcast felt like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because she is renowned for being private and rarely giving interviews. Millions watched in a matter of hours, and the stream was so busy that the show's account had to tweet, "We hit a glitch, but we'll be back shortly." Taylor knew exactly what she was doing. It was more than just a conversation, it was a cultural event. That evening, she unveiled The Life of a Showgirl, her 12th studio album, which will be available on October 3rd. Swifties immediately started going through the song list in search of hidden meanings and Easter eggs. Two titles immediately jumped out. Tracks 10 and 6 are canceled and Ruin the Friendship, respectively. The timing was too obvious for fans to ignore. Taylor exited the stage through a single orange door just a few months prior on the last night of her historic Aries tour, an intentional moment that made it clear right away that it was a preview of her next book. As expected, the entire theme was covered in orange when she unveiled the album. She went on to explain why this time period was all about the drama, the private struggles that never made it into the spotlight, and the off-stage happenings. Swifties were buzzing over track 6 Ruin the Friendship out of everything she shared, because what else could be a clear reference to the rumors circulating about her and Blake Lively? This is where the story really gets interesting, though, because there is a discrepancy between the friendship drama and the musical timing. Fan forums exploded as soon as the track list was released. The phrase "break the friendship" seemed too obvious to ignore. After all, Taylor and Blake shared one of Hollywood's closest celebrity friendships. Taylor's "I Bet You Think About Me" video was directed by Blake. In her hit song Gorgeous, Taylor used the voice of James, the daughter of Blake and Ryan Reynolds. They were regarded as close to family for many years. Swifties quickly connected the dots when rumors circulated in 2025 that the two women are no longer communicating. Taylor's subtle jab, a musical way of ending a relationship that had once seemed unbreakable, was said to have destroyed the friendship. Here's the catch, though. Production details indicate that Taylor wrote and recorded a large portion of her new album while on tour in Europe in the middle of 2024. That was months before Blake's legal battle with Justin Baldoni made headlines. The song couldn't be a direct response to those events if that were the case. Perhaps it has nothing to do with Blake, or at least not with the public feud that fans are imagining. Other names were even mentioned by some fans. Since her sporadic friendship with Taylor has stoked rumors for years, Karlie Kloss has surfaced once more. Others speculated that it might have to do with something completely different. However, Blake's history with Taylor is simply too intense, too public, and too emotional for people to overlook, so none of those theories were as credible as Blake's. And that's precisely why the rumors spread so fast. There was already a sense of a fallout, even if the timelines don't exactly line up. That kind of track title felt like confirmation, however, the music wasn't the end of the rumors. Taylor was dragged straight into a messy legal storm by what transpired next. One that would make her name appear in headlines she didn't want to be associated with. The friendship theories were further complicated by what transpired in that courtroom. Fan theories about the friendship drama were short-lived. It overflowed into a courtroom. By the end of 2024, Blake Lively and her co-star and director on the film It Ends With Us, Justin Baldoni, were embroiled in a highly public altercation. She accused him of fostering a toxic environment on the set and filed complaints. Taylor Swift's name was inadvertently brought into the controversy when Baldoni retaliated with a massive countersuit that contained grave accusations against her. Baldwin's legal team attempted to subpoena Taylor in May 2025, alleging she was involved in behind-the-scenes conflicts regarding the film's script. However, Taylor's team retaliated right away. They clarified that, like almost 20 other artists, she had only contributed by licensing her song My Tears Ricochet for the soundtrack. She wasn't involved in the conflict, wasn't on set, and wasn't a member of the creative team. Then, the shocking news arrived. According to a filing, Blake's attorney allegedly threatened to make Taylor's private text messages public unless Taylor publicly backed Blake. Though it didn't last long in court, that claim lit up the internet. The accusation was removed from the record after the judge declared it to be untrue and unrelated, but the damage had already been done by the headlines. When Taylor later released a song titled Ruin the Friendship, fans couldn't help but notice that she had been subjected to weeks of unwelcome negative publicity by the time the subpoena was withdrawn. It seemed more like a subdued retort than a coincidence. However, Taylor's own words during the podcast were the true spark. Swifties was certain she was making fun of her in one particular remark. Taylor made a comment in the midst of the New Heights discussion that quickly made headlines. "Even if my name appears in the headline, it's still none of my business," she said. The timing was too obvious for fans to ignore. Although she wasn't involved, her name had been snatched from articles about Blake's altercation with Baldoni just months prior. This sounded to listeners like Taylor stating unequivocally that she would not allow the drama of others to become her own. She also reaffirmed that she doesn't waste time conversing with negativity and doesn't read comments on the internet. Rather, she continues to concentrate on her work. Those remarks taken alone sound like typical Taylor, establishing limits and maintaining the privacy of her personal life. Fans, however, interpret it as more than just common sense when combined with the album reveal, the orange symbolism, and that track list. They perceived it as Taylor gently disparaging her former close friend. The internet interpreted it as a message regardless of its intentionality. And Blake wasn't exactly at ease about it, if reports are to be believed. One of Hollywood's favorite couples for many years was Taylor and Blake. Her music video was directed by Blake. Taylor's songs featured the voices of their children. Like family, they supported one another's endeavors and shared holidays. Fans were shocked by the prospect of a falling out because of this. However, a number of media sources stated in 2025 that the two women had stopped communicating. According to sources, they made an unsuccessful attempt to re-establish their relationship following the subpoena controversy. Too much distance had been created by the legal mess. All of a sudden, a friendship that had seemed unbreakable was on hold, if not completely gone. And that's where today's speculation lies. One could argue that the song title is merely an unsettling coincidence, because Taylor's album may have been completed before the drama even reached its peak. Conversely, Taylor is a master storyteller, and her songs frequently have nuanced allusions and complex meanings. Ruin the Friendship is more than just a catchphrase, according to fans. We only know this for now. The idea that there's a feud still exists, and Taylor's choice to discuss boundaries and disregard news reports only served to stoke the flames. The shade was felt, whether on purpose or not. That leaves us with a puzzle. In addition to confirming an album centered around her offstage life, Taylor makes her infrequent podcast appearance and unofficially releases the song Ruin the Friendship. While Taylor herself is dragged into subpoenas and uninvited speculation, Blake Lively is enmeshed in a whirlwind of lawsuits, headlines, and rumors. It's understandable why fans interpreted that one podcast quote about headlines being none of her business as a jab. We can infer one story from the timeline. Although Taylor probably wrote these songs months before the most dramatic event ever occurred, the perception suggests that she may have used this album as a covert means of addressing a friendship that had changed. And as anyone who has followed Taylor for any length of time knows, when it comes to her music, perception frequently matters just as much as fact. And that's where the interesting part begins. Double meanings are a specialty of Taylor's. Lyrics that can be interpreted in multiple ways have been the foundation of her career, allowing fans to decipher, conjecture, and debate for months on end. It may not be about Blake at all, or it may be about Blake, but not in the way that most people believe. It might even be a red herring, meant to draw our attention while the true story remains hidden. I want to hear from you because of this. Is this shade in your opinion? Was Blake Lively the target of Ruin the Friendship? Or are fans merely making connections because the timing appears haphazard? How do you interpret that particular podcast moment? Was it a calculated remark directed at an old friend? Or was it a subtle statement of boundaries? Since this may be one of Taylor's most intricate mysteries to date, please share your thoughts in the comments section below. The crazy thing is that the lyrics are still missing. We may receive answers when The Life of a Showgirl is released on October 3rd, or we may simply be left with more questions.